Welcome, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Cage Talk. Today, I have a UFC veteran and BKFC middleweight champion, Thiago the Pitbull Alves. How you doing today, buddy?
Doing good, man. How about you?
Just hanging in here, man. I'm in Texas, and the heat is bad. I know you're in Florida. We're in Coconut Creek, right?
I live in Parkland. It's
Oh,
right next
Parkland.
to the creek. But it was pretty hot, but because we had the hurricane,
Yeah.
raising us, it's been raining a lot.
How's everything? Everything's good over there. I know you guys just got that like the outskirts because I have family in Miami, but it's
Yeah, no, we didn't get much, just lots of rain. People in Tampa, I think the one that got hit hard.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But again, thank you for coming on the show. Let's get right into it, man. Again, big fan. Enjoyed watching you fight, and when you have your moments where you go to BF when you do bare knuckle. One question I always wanted to ask you at your time, your prime in the
Mm.
UFC, you had someone else, George St. Pierre. Do you think if it wasn't for George St. Pierre, do you think that you would have had a title? You would have been a welterweight champion if it wasn't for George?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And George always been an amazing athlete, kind of ahead
Mhm.
of it, his time. He's
Mhm.
always first guy to wear suits, to press conference and everything. So he was
Yeah.
a unicorn in our era, and going through to that training camp, we had a lot of issues. My whole camp, pretty much dismantled after my
Okay.
fight against Josh Harchek. So
Okay.
I was trying to maintain something that wasn't there anymore, and preparation could have been a lot better.
Okay.
But it's one of the things that you live and learn. We're our American top team. We're learn a lot over the years, especially throughout my mistakes. And
Yeah. 100%.
we are where we are today, But definitely, if George St. Pierre wasn't there, I'll definitely be a UFC champion, no
Oh,
doubt.
100%. And to some people, you're still a champion. I mean, I consider you a champion. Just because you didn't get the gold doesn't mean anything. Again, you walk through, you know, previous champions before. I mean, beating Matt Hughes, and we'll talk about that fight. Now, your training camp, was it kind of similar training for Josh Koscheck because you fought him before fighting GSP? Was it kind of something similar with the grappling style, or no, completely different?
No, completely different. And then for Josh Koscheck, I was supposed to
Mm-hmm.
fight Diego Sanchez at first, and
Mm-hmm.
then it fell through, and then like Koscheck jumped in, and I think 3 to 4 weeks before. But the thing is, I had a real training camp for the Josh Koscheck fight for
Okay.
George St. Pierre. My striking coach left the gym. My strength and conditioning coach left the gym. A lot of my teammates kind of left the gym as well. So I was searching for a new team, pretty much. Not new team when it comes to American Top Team, new team of coaches per
Yeah.
se, because a lot of guys were just coming in and out. So preparation wasn't as good as it should have been, because a lot of the guys that I was working with at the time didn't know me. It was the first time I was working with them. And to go through a fight at that magnitude, if you don't have that connection, it was kind of now, again, I don't regret anything that happened in my story. I think I'm a
Mhm.
champion life. And but if I had, my team that I had in place, the previous fight,
Mhm.
it could have been a result.
Now, did anything also maybe the pressure of it being, remember at that time was UFC 100, main event, and you've headlined and you main event, but this is for the championship belt. Was there any pressure as well as trying to get training partners and just trying to get a team together as well?
Dude, it was weird because
Mhm.
I always knew, since I started fighting professionally, that I was going to be a UFC champion by 25. And I got my title shot at 25. I was fighting George St. Pierre at 25, and I was coming in a 7 fight winning streak, just going through everybody. And yeah, there was a lot of pressure, but more like pressure in myself because I knew I had all these goals and everything was aligning just the way I wanted. So I wanted to be everything I said I was going to be. I was going to be, but again, you don't always get everything that you want. I was really close. Again, if I had better preparation for that fight, if everything wasn't going through that happened at that
Hmm.
time, it would definitely be a complete different strategy, a complete different fight. But you live and learn. I don't regret it. George St. Pierre is the GOAT. There's only one in a million guy like that. So
Yeah, 100%. And like you could say that you were in the cage and you fought, like you said, the goat. I mean, that's something that a lot of people can't say, And you went all the rounds with him. It's not like he.
yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
when it comes to the fight itself, I knew I was gonna fight until I'm dead. There's no way I was gonna get out of there, without trying my best for whatever time it need be. But again, I fought, George St. Pierre. So
well, let's talk a little bit about your previous fights before. I mean, I think your first. Let's go back to the very beginning. I think your first fight that you've had was in 2001. It was against T-Bow, right? Gleison T-Bow was your first. Was
no, no,
you
no.
know?
My first fight was I was 17. So yeah, it was probably 2001. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's a-
I think I did.
But
Yeah.
my first MMA fight was against Gleison Tibau.
Yep.
Tibau had a couple fights already at the time. I was just a Thai boxing guy, a Thai fighter. And somebody called the gym. They needed a fighter at 80 kilos, which is like 179 ish,
Mhm.
77.
Mhm.
My coach said, "We have one." And I was like, "It's going to be MMA fights, no problem. We'll fight everything." So I went there, dude. It was fun. I mean, I went 9 minutes and a half. It was probably rules at the time, a 10-minute round, a 5-minute round after that. I went 9 minutes and a half. It was a fight.
Yeah.
I'll beat him up. He'll take me down. And then he tried to beat me up on the ground. We literally just muscle out of everything. It was very slippery too. So it's
Mhm.
kind of hard to hold of each other. We're fighting on the side of a ring that was
Uh-huh.
very slippery, the canvas. But yeah, dude, and 30 seconds to finish the round, he was mounted. I flip him over. I'm inside of the guard. I posture up with my hand on my throat, my hand on his throat, threw a
Mhm.
big punch, and he catch me on an arm bar. And I seen arm bar before, but I'm looking at my coach because my face is the other way. My arm is going this way. My
Uh-huh.
coach, tap, dude, tap, tap. I said, tap, tap. But that's when I kind of fall in love with the MMA sport because I was thrilled to be able to do damage from everywhere, not just stand up, but the damage on the ground as well. And
Mhm.
I had never lost until then. So it was the
Okay.
first fight that I actually lost. And that kind of light a fire on me. And the rest is history.
Yeah, it's almost like a humbling experience, right? When you take a loss, how do you go about it? Do you take a few days off? Do you go over like tape about it, or like how it depend? I guess on depends on the fashion you lose, right, and how you
Yeah.
lose that match.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, it's very hard for you to make improvements when everything's going well.
Yeah.
It's still possible. Don't get me wrong. You still can be very methodic about your approach and still get better.
Hmm.
But I think losses are important. Losses really makes you reevaluate everything. It can
Yeah.
either make or break you. And I think it's important. It's an important part of being a professional fighter. We're gonna have one in a million those guys that retire undefeated. And there was, like I said, those are the unicorns out there. You don't have a lot of those. But most of the guys they're gonna face defeat at one point, and it's how you bounce from that.
It's all the mental game, right? Mental
Yeah.
games big time in that. Talk about your fights against um, John Finch, Carlos Condit. Again, great fights. Chris Lytle, great fights. Some of them came out short, as in the Chris Lytle fight. Because again, as you see, I had Chris Lytle on, and you had the gloves there. Yeah, I loved watching him fight, and you guys going at it, both of you guys. I mean, unfortunately, that fight ended in a stoppage because he had a cut. But
Hmm.
again, fireworks from the very beginning. Is there certain fighters that you're gonna be like, yeah, this is gonna be a war, and he's just gonna, stand toe to toe? And do you kind of embrace that, or do you still try to stick to the game plan and still go and try to implement your will? But in the fight, you get what I'm saying? Like that Chris Lytle fight, I think you guys were both going at it for a while.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
sometimes you just have to fight.
yeah.
You just even though you have strategy in place and everything,
Hmm.
you your strategy should be in place where you need to fight as well. You got to have plan A, plan B, plan C. And a lot of the time, strategy is good, and if your opponent react the way you expect is going to react, then great, it's
Mhm.
going to work well. But fights is it's a lot of variables going on. So you're going to have to fight at one point. As long as you'll be drilling the proper technique, the proper patterns. Even in a firefight, I think you're going to be all right. But there is no way sugarcoat it. You can have the strategy that you want. You get clock, you're gonna forget that strategy right away, and then you're gonna go to things that it's engraved in your muscle memory. So
Gotcha.
you gotta bite down the mouthpiece, man. You gotta go. And at that time, every fight was a tough fight. I was the
Yep.
new guy coming in. I knew all those guys from the local scene, and then they all jump in UFC as well. So I knew every guy that was gonna fight, it's gonna be a war. It's gonna be a step up, and I was able to level up every time.
Gotcha. Now, fighting Matt Hughes, was it down the line? Obviously, you already said when you were younger, you already envisioned yourself like you were going to be a UFC champion. So, do you know, like down the line, like somewhere down the line, I will eventually fight Matt Hughes? Like that's no matter of fact, correct or
It,
no?
it it's always in the back of your head.
Okay.
You start as you climb the ladder. Like it becomes more realistic. Like you see
Gotcha.
the guy. Oh, I went through this guy. Okay, next probably this guy's gonna be next. This guy's gonna be next. So, but the Matt Hughes fight kind of fell on my lap because he was supposed to fight somebody else, and then the fight canceled. I just had beat Carl Parisian, and
Hmm.
then I got. Oh, I think I had like 5 weeks to prepare, for 6 weeks to prepare, something like that. But the good thing is, I was in shape already from the Carl Parisian fight. It was in Denver, so that was the altitude
The altitude
play
helped you out.
also. So I was in good shape, and I took the fight.
Nice. And I mean, according to plan, I mean, you did everything you needed to do. How was can you if you could explain going through that fight and everything going for you like how did it work out and like do you remember it or do you remember little parts and especially for fighting?
I remember like the day before, I dreamed the night before. I dreamed my ball knocked him out with a fly knee, believe it or not, and that thing was in the back of my head. But as I was getting ready to walk out, it was just so much emotions, everything going on, and I was so locked in that when the fight was happening, I didn't had this, oh, it's going my way. And I was just like, I'm gonna keep fighting into somebody pulls me off, and the fight is over.
Hmm.
And yeah, I was so locked in that the time kind of like uh 10 seconds seems like eternity, is in like 5 minutes it's too fast. It's
Yeah.
one of those moments that you're so locked in. And it hit me when it was done. That's when I'm like, holy shit, I just
Knocked out
knocked him
Matt.
out, on a pay-per-view event with a flying knee. So
Hmm.
that after the fact, it was fun. During the whole process, I was just numb to it. Just let's get it done. Let's get it going. See how it goes.
Nice, nice. Now, do you ever have an opponent that you still maybe train after with, or it just became better or good friends after your fights, or no, not really?
Dude, Matt Hughes, he comes to the gym a lot. He's really good friends with Dan Lambert. He's
Okay.
my guy. They're the owners of ATT. I don't say we're friends because in this business you have a lot of acquaintances that you say hi, what's up. You might talk a little bit here and there and everything. But I always had a great relationship with everybody. There hasn't been one guy that Matt Hughes before the fight, I had this little thing going with him because my first fight in UFC, I lost to Spencer Fisher, and he was
Mhm.
on his corner.
Yeah, I
I
remember.
think a couple fights after that, I was in 2-fight winning streak. I went to a grand opening of our American Top Team in Orlando. There was a Matt Hughes seminar going on to help promote the business.
Hmm.
And when I got there, he kind of like, threw some shade at me. It's like, oh, dude, you just missed. I was teaching how to defend a triangle, and I lost
Oh
you
wow.
Spencer Fisher. So really, champ, all right, no problem. That kind of like, I didn't forget that.
Yeah.
So going in, I had that. Now you're gonna pay for your words, and then after the fight, it was all good.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, like no, never had any animosity. I mean, there's some guys like that, some things that they do just triggers something. When I
Hmm.
fought Poppy Abadi, The first time that we weigh in, I had like a half a pound to cut, or no, half a pound, half weight and everything. But just the fact that seeing that dude with the cigar on his face and getting on my
Oh,
face, something that, just
triggered
I
you.
didn't like. Yeah, I didn't like it, and then I just went straight to the sauna. I cut the half pound. 20 minutes, I was on weight, and then I was ready to fuck him up the next day.
Nice. Let's talk a little bit about BKFC, because that's something that a lot of uh, fighters, MMA fighters, have transitioned to and seem to enjoy it, and some have had really good success, some haven't. I believe you're one of the fighters who's had really good success. Same thing. I
Mhm.
mean, I don't mean to name drop him again, but Chris Lytle is another person who, again, he had the boxing background and then
Mhm.
went to BKFC. How did that all, go into your favor? Did you just wanted to try another sport, or how did that go?
I was just the money, the money
Funny?
was. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the challenge. Be able to box with no gloves, something I never done, and I fought MMA no gloves before in Brazil,
Hmm.
uh, 3, 4 times I think. But I saw it before. I used to follow, not like a lot, but I seen a couple fights and everything, and I thought it was brutal and exciting.
Hmm.
So offered me a bunch of money. My contract was up with UFC. I got some offers out there, but honestly, for the money that I was gonna make and for the length of the fight, it's just
Okay.
10 minutes. So it's 5 rounds of 2 minutes, 1 minute rest, So I'm pretty much gonna be fighting 2 rounds in MMA,
Gotcha.
with a bunch of rest in between.
Hmm.
So and the challenge was there. I think I kind of like opened the doors, for all the MMA fighters that had some success in MMA before to kind of join in and say, "Oh shit, no, we can do this."
Yeah,
It's not
definitely.
just boxing. Like, so I think after I joined BKFC, everybody wanted to join BKFC because they knew the money, they knew that it was fun. Yeah, you're gonna get caught, you might break your hand here and there, but it's a fun, it makes sense the money. It's a fun sport and it makes sense the money. So that was it, and then that I became a champion. So that
Yeah,
kind of like worked out well.
looked good. It looks cool. And are you planning on doing anything after that with that, or no? You're good with.
No, no, unfortunately, like I I didn't have a good relationship with Dave Feldman.
Oh, okay, I
Not
didn't
to,
know. Okay.
yeah, I don't know what it was.
Mhm.
Some person just don't click, don't match. I got nothing but respect the guy. I'm not gonna say anything bad about the guy because he didn't do anything bad to me. But for some reason, we couldn't come to a deal,
Okay.
and that's okay. I'm not gonna fight for anything that I think that I'm worth. And thank God I don't need to fight, anymore.
That's
So
good. Yeah,
I'll give
100%.
yes and no for situations like that.
Gotcha. Oh, that's good. Like I said, you have a beautiful family. You had like the coaching gig as well as American Top Team. How long have you
Yeah.
been there? 2017? No.
I've been coaching professionally since 2017. Yeah, it's been 6 years.
Nice, nice. Now, how do you? I mean, obviously, I mean it's crazy. Just the American Top Team way, like Wilson Govera was saying, like when he dies, I mean, first it's like family. I mean, it's God, family, and then American Top Team, and that's
Yeah.
something that's like you guys keep that. You guys are true to that, and that's, I mean,
Yeah.
one of the top or the top MMA gyms all around the United States of America.
We're definitely, one of the best, if not the best, still to be able to do what we do. We'll have teammates, fighting teammates in different organizations, and we're able to accommodate all of them. We'll have champions from every organization. And this is all we do 24/7. We have many different locations. We're recruiting from the ground up. Then let me just open American Top Team Happy Valley, right next to Penn State. We were literally getting high level wrestlers straight up, of the college, straight off the college to start training with us. So we're not playing around. This is all we do 24/7. All the coaches are very passionate about what we do. We have a lot of respect because a lot of us, coaches have competed
Mhm.
at the highest level or not, but, a lot of us are competitors, in the previous careers. And I'm also an MMA director for Life Train,
Okay,
our
yeah,
own
nice.
platform. It's growing little by little, and I think we're gonna take over the market very soon. And our motto right now is anything, anywhere. anytime, so you can learn anything from anywhere at any time. Just go on livestream.com. You can learn from you can go learn straight from fighting, learn how to fight, to learn how to cook. We're growing rapidly. We're adding new categories every week, and we're about to take over the market, man. We're excited about it. So I got a lot of great things going on, outside of fighting, where I'm able to, unless it's something that it's really hard to say no, an offer that I can
Uh-huh.
refuse. Otherwise I'm happy where I'm at. I get everything that I need to get, when it comes to the feelings that they used to get as a fighter, as a coach, not as intense, of course, when you're fighting in a locker room and everything, but I still get those 20-25% of the feels, we walk and the guys are fighting, you win, you lose.
Mhm.
So I'm happy when it comes to that. I'm still involved in the sport at the highest level, work with, high level athletes there. It's a pleasure and an honor, to be able to guide them through this amazing journey that I was able to be very successful and make a good life out of it.
Mhm.
So I feel like I'm just getting started, in this
Nice.
new path as a coach, and I'm learning every year. I think I get better every month, every day, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see how many champions I can make.
And that's I think the beauty about it is not only when I did this podcast, it's not only talking to fighters that I've watched and I admired, back in the day, but also see them excel not only at fighting but in life after. Like it's not all about fighting now. You have this going. You're a coach. You're this, and you're still putting your experiences, your everything into the sport and giving it back. So it comes in full circle, and it's really really nice to see. And some fighters don't have the opportunity to do that.
No, no. A lot of the guys that started with me, unfortunately, they're not in the same boat. They're not in the same. They're probably doing something different. And I was very lucky to have American Top Team. That's part of my family. So I was able to transition smoothly from a fighter to a coach. I started as a part-time coach, little by little.
Mhm.
2021. That's when after becoming a champion, that's when I decided to go full time as a coach.
Okay.
And Dan Lambert, my godfather, has been nothing but amazing. Like I said, it's God, family, American Top Team. I wouldn't have any other way. It's not gonna be any other way.
That's awesome. Do you enjoy coaching a little bit more than fighting, or it's still now you're still kind of balancing that out where you
Fighting is it's such a
different, right?
like it's a complete different thing.
Hmm.
You selfish. It's all about you, your schedule, how you can be optimal for your next training session, the things that you need to eat to make sure you're getting the proper nutrients, you getting the proper rest so you can perform at the next practice. The diet needs to be on point so you can lose weight and perform. So it's a very selfish sport.
Hmm.
Being a coach, if you're selfish, you don't belong
Not
in
in
a
it,
department.
right?
Not about you. It's about your guys, and I'm fortunate enough to work with amazing coaches throughout my professional career to understand that, to understand that it's a selfless job. You're there to make sure you can help your athlete. And my guys used to go above and beyond for them. I'm the same way. I think if you're gonna do something, you gotta do it right.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's you leave your ego out the door. You're there to listen, to learn, and the good thing about where I'm at, I have amazing co-workers that they're constantly getting better, constantly evolving, and the talent that we have in our American Top Team, guys from all different parts of the world, different styles, different techniques. So I'm always learning, I'm always evolving,
Yeah.
being there, which is amazing. So we still have this competitive eye. How much better can we be as a coach now to help our guys? We have this in between. We always, we'll push each other as well. So it's fun. And here and there we get together, all the coaches, we just try to kick each other's asses. It's kind of
Now, before I let you go, man, what is one fight that maybe never happened in your career that you always wanted to fight,
hmm.
fighter wise? Yeah. Let's see.
I wanted to fight Mike Perry, after I became a champion. I think that was the fight that was supposed to happen, but I had some issues with management. They
Hmm.
kind of, sideline me when it comes to fighting against him. They didn't want me to fight him and this and that. And then you got to do another fight. He needs to do another fight. So we did that, and then it didn't happen again. So that was one fight I wanted to know, but I don't have any. And I wish I had this fight. No, dude, I'm happy with what I done. I'm
That's
happy
good.
with my path. I think I gave my all. That was there was no looking back. There was no I could have done this better. No, of course, yeah. I don't know anybody that could go back and change a couple things, right? But I'm happy. I'm fulfilled. I gave my all. I did it my way in a way. I shot my shot the best I could, and we're here.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to say before anything, man, I appreciate everything you've done inside and outside the octagon. I mean, you left your blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, you gave it all for the sport, and fans, as we recognize that and appreciate that from you, and say we have nothing but love for you, man. Again,
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
you
Yeah,
know,
that's the least. If you're gonna do this, give your all. Go out there and fight your ass off. And when it's done, it's done. And it's in God's hands. The result is always in God's hands. You never know is the unknown. That's one of the things we love about this. You're gonna go out there, you don't know what's gonna happen. You're ready, the other guy's ready, he won as much as you want. And put it to the test. See how it goes. It's only gonna make you better.
perfect, man. I want to say thank you so much for coming on, man. God bless you and your family, and uh,
Thank you, brother.
we I'm excited to see the livetrain.com. I'll put it down. I'll get the link
Yeah,
from you after so I can put it down in the video so people can click on it if they want to check
I
it out.
appreciate
All
it.
right.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you.
Thank you.